Alright, hey folks, it is Friday afternoon. We're going to do some color mechanics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition Magic the Gathering crossover. Give me a second here to see if my signal is up and running here, and we'll see where we're at. Do some posting real quick, and then we'll get to work. So, looks like we are live. Real quick, and then we'll get to work. Volume sounds good. Fantastic. So, let's drop that back down there. I'm going to grab this link real quick. I'm going to put on the social media platforms that I'm live. That'll take about a minute. If you're here in present time with me, well, if you're catching this after the fact in the future, you can skip forward like a minute, and then we'll be on to today. For those that are here now with me live, or if you've never been to the channel before, let me just say, hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I have been creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition on the Dungeon Masters Guild since 2017. I've been a Magic enthusiast since 1993, a DM in the old 1st Edition, and some BECME since 1985. And I've been a freelance illustrator since 1999. So we've... The content that we've been creating on the DMsGuild, let me get this out of the way here, and I'll fix my screen, this was the first project that got me onto the DMsGuild, and we're still working on today, is the Color Mana Spell Point variant rule system. Spell Point Warlocks, Knights and Tricksters, Universal Spell Points, Tap on Tap Burn, Color Mana Spell Point variant rules. These are all things that you can find online. Here, hold on real quick. Let's take a look at this. Here on YouTube, by the way, since we're here, just to finish up my intro, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications of when we are live in the future. And we are currently working our way through the color mana list for Dungeons & Dragons 2024. Let's take a look real quick. Let's click on this link here. This takes us to all the color mana books that we've created. Here's a bunch of other books that I've made. They're all free previews. So here, check this out. Here's all the color mana books that we've built. And this book here, the Revised 5 Color Mana Spell List, expands on what we had originally built for color. This defines, for people that are just casually interested in color mechanics from Magic the Gathering, and since Magic the Gathering is owned by Wizards of the Coast, and Wizards has published Magic the Gathering settings as settings for Dungeons & Dragons, those are opened to the community on DMsGuild to produce content utilizing both of those IPs, the Magic the Gathering IP, all that stuff relevant to whatever campaign setting, like Ravnica, Strixhaven, and Theros. Now, all three of those IPs from Magic the Gathering and D&D are available for us on the DMsGuild to build with new tools and toys. So, one of the big things that I was excited about when they announced Ravnica was a color magic system. In 3rd edition and prior editions, when you came out with a new setting or a new idea, there'd be all this support infrastructure mechanics, like magic items, feats, spells, creatures, prestige classes, subclasses, base classes, backgrounds, races, and adventures that all worked around whatever this new concept was. But 5th edition, I think WotC is realizing, that amount of bloat, that scope sprawl that was just default in 2nd and 3rd edition, is a lot of production cost that it's pretty obvious they were looking to move away from those expenses and minimize the work needed to get newcomers up and running. Like, if the only reason you're playing D&D is because of the Ravnica setting, they want to create as little barrier to entry as possible for that Ravnica enthusiast to purchase Dungeons & Dragons. So the Ravnica setting, Player's Handbook, that's essentially all they would want you to be able to need to run a Ravnica campaign. So that means that they have severe limitations on what they can put inside of that one Ravnica book, with all the options of the species, the backgrounds, the magic items, the spells, the races, the guilds themselves, the setting, the world, encounters, and a sample adventure. They ran out of room for any real deep mechanical depth beyond what you would already see in the player's handbook. So I'm not surprised that they left color mana out of the situation, but color is what makes Magic the Gathering unique. It's what it's famous for. So wanted to add that in. So that's what we have here on the DMs Guild. All my products are free to view, so you can check out these entire books, but we are in the process of revising them for 2024 mechanics, which is fantastic because I've been using these rules in my own home settings for the past 7 years. I just completed a 20 level campaign that lasted a solid 6 years, where all the characters were mana characters utilizing these mechanics, and we the base chassis that we have here, it works great, but we found other neat ways to play with the narrative and to expand on the system, which I can now integrate into the 2024 revisions that we're building. But this basically walks you through what the colors are, how you kind of define them by tags inside of the D&D game engine, different types of damage that are associated with each color. We explored these ideas a lot in the last session, episode 1, so you can check that out in my playlists. And then, so if you take the tenets, like the tags that are associated with each color and the damage types that are associated with damage, you can then eyeball and figure out what colors do we think these spells can be. And there's a lot of flexibility that can go into it, and I'm attempting to defer in favor of variety. So in episode 1 last night, we went through and confirmed all of the spells that are in the Player's Handbook 24, and we went through and confirmed the color identities and spell durations for all of the cantrips and all of the first level spells. So we are picking up today again. Let's get this out of the way here. Here. Yeah, here we are, second level spells. So aid. So we're just going to start off the process and keep kicking through until we're done. So I'm going to pull this over here like this so we can keep an eye on what we're actually working on. So let's take a look at this. So it lasts 8 hours. That means it's going to have a persistent duration. But let's double check that real quick. Choose up to 3 creatures within range. Each target hit point maximum and current hit point increases by 5. Hit point maximum and current hit points increases by 5 for the duration. We're going to make that a persistent spell. Persistent spells last 24 hours. You can leave them active by leaving the mana spent when you complete a rest. Just leave the 2 mana spent and aid will remain active. And as it reads here, it just increases your hit point supply. So that's pretty cool. I like that. So hit points is vitality, it's health, it's healing. That's going to put it in the white and green, the arenas of white and green. Let's hold on before we move along. Let's just do this real quick. Let's grab a screenshot of our tenets. So we have these available to look at while we're going. So white magic is healing, and green magic is also healing. This is increasing our hit points. Energy, creation, earth, fire, emotion. Energy isn't the right word. I want to update that. Let's impulse. What's the word like? Impulse. It's like speed of thought, or like not initiative like a term, but engagement. Impulse is a great one. Emotion is a good one. Chaos. Chaos, creation, earth, fire, emotion, impulse. That all feels good. Let's go with that. Trying to be a little bit more specific on both like mechanics as well as feelings for how this goes. So like energy isn't the right term for like hit point gain, for instance. There's nothing really going on inside of the red kit that says I would be healthier or have more vitality, right? Ambition, darkness, entropy, fear, manipulation, soul. Nothing in black is going on there. Blue, air, illusion, ingenuity, mind, suppressed, water. None of that is really propelling the idea of health. So good. So aid is as it is, as white and green. So we can go ahead and mark that one off, and let's move on down to the next. And just going to keep kicking through these things. I have about maybe like an hour and a half, maybe a little bit less. We'll see how far down the list we can get. Just for kicks and shittles. So we want to get down. It's roughly 448 lines. Because we have spaces and the top line markers, and as well as a bunch of like definition stuff at the top. So I think we can trim off 50. So it's about 450, 460 spells, I guess. Let's see, Alter Self. So how does Alter Self work? It's concentration based, so it's going to be a concentration spell. Second level spell, so it's 2 mana. The mana system's a point-to-point ratio. Like a first level spell is 1. Like cantrips is 0 mana. 0, you don't cast any. It just takes an action to cast it. First level spell, 1 mana. Fifth level spell, 5 mana. Ninth level spell, 9 mana. Very straightforward system, but you get less mana. If you were to add up all the spell slots that your character would get, that's roughly round down to the nearest divisible number by 20 is going to end up being the amount of points that you get. Eldritch Knights, Arcane Tricksters, 20 points. Paladin and Ranger, Artificer, 40 points across 20 levels. The Wizard, Cleric, Druid, Bard, they get 80 points. The Sorcerer gets 100 because of the sorcery, Sorcerer's Magic. Sorcery points are added to your mana pool. And then the Warlock has 60. 20 of them are short rest that you regain each cycle, and then you get 40 points for high magic. Once you get to 11th level, you start stacking 6 points up to 40 points at 20th level. So you'll end up with a total of 60 mana, 20 of which you can regain on short rests. And the Monk gets 20 mana, which is regained on a short rest as well. So let's see. So second level, 2 points. After your you alter your physical form, choose. Ooh, maybe that's a better word than chaos. Alteration. Air, illusion, ingenuity, chaos, creation. Yeah, I'm gonna let it sit. I'm not opposed to the idea of alteration. Let's see. Right, spell description. Aquatic adaptation, that's water. Change is generally going to be chaos-ish, so blue is modifying body, so that's going to put it into green. So blue, red, green automatically. Aquatic leans into blue. Changing your appearance is like illusion, that's also blue. Natural weapons, that leans into green. So blue, red, green should be blue, red, and again, we're updating the system, so we get to add more colors in where we see it's logical. That was logical. So let's go back to our list. It's pretty easy to go through these things. Once you define how it works, it's pretty easy to pop this out. I'll be doing this for the elemental system, air, earth, fire, water, and then the transition elements in between, like ash, steam, ice, lightning, lava. We'll be fleshing all of that out on a separate stream with the elemental magic system. So with a 1-to-1 point ratio like this for mana, like we have, you can apply any paradigm that you want and then break up the spells and abilities and stuff into different identities or devote them to different aspects of magic. The 8 schools of magic has 8 aspects, but there's no real identity to them other than a classification. Like it's almost like it's just a Dewey Decimal of spellcasting. There's no implicit difference between conjuring and say illusion. It's just you're just casting magic, but they're like grouped together, right? It's not like there's any kind of like real physical difference or like different method of casting, or like you have to have like you have to have both hands free for illusion, or like you have to have a material, like you have to have a representation of the creature that you want to summon for conjuration, stuff like that. Like those things don't exist inside of the game. So the 8 schools of magic are purely just a Dewey Decimal System for classifying magic into categories as a descriptor, but there's no flavor attached to that description or mechanic. The color magic system, in contrast, is literally defined by color. So when you see a color in a world driven by the color magic paradigm, when you see a color, you're automatically going to be thinking about what kind of effects or impact is that going to have. Like if you see a banner that is beaming with white magic, that's going to infer different flavor than one that comes through on red, or that comes through blue, or is a mix of green and black, for instance. These are all different colors that if you run across an army that is wearing those colors, then it's going to have just it's going to mean different automatically. It's inferred. So hopefully I'm not beating that concept to death. That is to say that the paradigms of magic that you choose, there's stronger and weaker paradigms. It really depends on how much narrative do you want to be able to go into your magic, and the color magic system is by far the most literal form of having a narrative color magic system. I think the next closest would be the 4 elements, because elements are such a just like a base fundamental building block of what reality is. It's super easy to be able to relate to things from an elemental perspective as just the building blocks of what you're looking at. So like if something has like a very earthy look to it, that's going to feel completely different than something that has a very airy feel to it. So anyway, we'll play with those ideas in a future session. 24 hours equals persistent spell effect. It is animal messenger, which means it's going to be green by nature. Pardon the pun. But let's see if there's any other kickers in here that might drive it in another direction. Tiny beast of your choice. You can see within range, will succeed saving throw, or it attempts to deliver a message for you. That's compelled, but you're not manipulating somebody. I think that's the big. Like black is partially defined as manipulating, like emotionally manipulating, or like bribery or blackmail, leverage against things or people. That's what we're trying to express with manipulation there. And in this case, like charm person, you are compelling somebody to view you as a friend against their will. While in this case, you're not manipulating the creature, you're just using it as a utility tool, which feels like Druid Green sort of mechanics. So I don't feel like there's a need to add other colors in this instance. So we're going to go ahead and call that done. And let's move on to Arcane Lock. So Arcane Lock is until dispelled, which means it's persistent for sure. Let's see, you touch a closed door, gate, window, container, or hatch magically locked for the duration. Can't be unlocked by any non-magical means. You and any creature you designate, you cast a spell, can open and close the door despite the lock. You can also set a password when spoken. So that feels like white and blue magic to me. It's definitely not green. Doesn't feel like red magic, but it definitely has a sense of protection, suppression, as in keeping the door locked. That's also sort of a restraint feeling to it. I can see Arcane Lock, Air, Illusion, Ingenuity, Mind. Speaking of password, that's not specific to blue magic. That's not like a blue trigger. I can see why I had it as white only originally. I'm going to leave it as white-blue for now. I'm not 100% on that, though, but I'm trying to err in the favor of diversity. So we're going to call it white-blue. Ward effect. What was Blade Ward? Let's let that be our deciding factor. White-blue. Okay. White-blue is probably the right choice, so let's do that. Arcane Vigor, this is new. So let's check out what you do. Instantaneous bonus action to cast. So let's drop an I in there for instantaneous spell effect. And you tap into Life Force to heal yourself. Pretty straightforward. Going to be white and green there. Roll 1 or 2 of your unexpended hit point dice and regain a number of hit points equal to the rolls plus your spellcasting ability. These dice are then expended. And when you use a higher level spell slot, the number of expended hit dice you roll increases by 1 for each spell slot above level 2. Arcane Vigor, definitely white and green. White, green. Is there a reason for this to be red? No. So cool, that is resolved. Let's move on to Augury. You receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the result of a course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. The DM chooses the omen in the omen's table below. The spell doesn't account for circumstances like other spells, etc. If you cast the spell more than once before you finish the long rest, there's a cumulative 25% chance. Each casting the first that you get no response. So let's X that. That's going to be white, and I think blue is appropriate for that as well. Let's read the description again real quick. You receive an omen from an otherworldly entity about the results of a course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. So that is going to be like divinity based, otherworldly, like elder power. That's generally white. Course of action that you plan to take in the next 30 minutes. That sounds like mind and ingenuity. So yeah, white and blue. That feels right. We're doing a lot of white magic here up front. I think that's funny. Bark Skin's obviously going to feel like a green spell. Let's see how this rolls. You touch a willing creature until the spell ends, which means it's going to be target skin assumes a bark-like appearance in the target's armor class of 17 if the AC is lower than that. Bark Skin, we're going to push that to being a persistent effect because it's basically an improved mage armor. Mage armor, there you go. Protection, white. Armor class bumps is white, but it's Bark Skin specifically. The flavor implies the nature, so I want to include that as well. Hold on. Touch a willing creature until the spell ends. The skin assumes a bark-like appearance, and the target has an armor class of 17. No, I'm just going to make that pure green. Beast Sense. Concentration. Check. You touch a willing creature. For the duration, you can perceive through the creature's senses. Okay. When perceiving through the beast's senses, you benefit from any special senses it has. So definitely green. Chaos, creation, earth, fire, emotion, impulse, mind, suppression, water. I'm thinking not so much mind, but more like perception. Awareness, maybe. Chaos. Let's see. Like, transformation feels kind of like alteration. Change. Chaos is accurate. It's just unfettered change. Adaption is kind of like what? Oof, God, that's not a bad one. Adaptable. Adaptation is the actual word that I'm looking for there. Instead of chaos, maybe we go with that kind of feels right. And you can keep adding more and more words that are more and more specific, but then that pigeonholes more and more. Trying to find general, good, broad terms that not only convey intent and like a sort of an intent, a vibe, like a flavor, as well as mechanical relevance. So it's a tricky thread. It's a tricky needle to thread. But Beast Sense, I'm going to, since like if I added like awareness, then blue would make sense. But Beast Sense feels more red than blue. So like, would I want to include like sensation in here? That's very specific. Motion, impulse, meh, we're gonna leave it be. Just gonna leave it as green for now. Blindness, deafness, that's gonna be suppression and control. I could see this being white, blue, and black pretty easily, not just black. One creature that you can see within range must succeed con save, or it has blindness, is blinded or deafened, your choice. For the duration, at the end of each of its turns, the target makes a save to end the effect. More creatures, more effects. So let's go to blind, deaf, black for sure. White for restrain, as in like shutting your senses down, and suppression. Those all make sense. Let's go to blur. 1 minute concentration. Your body becomes blurred for the duration. Any creature that has disadvantage on attack rolls against you, an attacker is immune to the effect if it has blind sight or sight. Okay, great. So illusion and suppression, those are both blue ideas. So blur setting in blue makes a lot of sense. Calm Motion is obviously going to be a red spell. 1 minute duration equals concentration. Good. Each humanoid in 20-foot sphere centered at the point you choose within range must succeed on a saving throw or be affected by one of the following effects you choose per creature. Creatures has immunity to Charmed and Frightened, so that's like a bolstering white effect. Creatures become indifferent about creatures of your choice that is hostile towards, so that's modifying emotions, which is red, and its manipulation, which is black. So white, black, and red is the correct answers here. Not blue. I don't see where blue feeds into this much. Cloud of Daggers, let's check that out. You conjure spinning daggers in a 5-foot cube centered on a point. Each creature in that area takes slashing damage. This is creation, so that's a red spell. Creature also takes this damage if it enters the cube or ends its turn there. If the cube moves into its space, the creature takes this damage only once per turn. On your later turns, you can take the magic action to teleport the cube up to 30 feet. This is good language that they should have for the various AoE damage spells. I like that a lot. A creature takes this damage only once per turn. I wish they had collected all of the AoE spell effects that they had in 2024 and came up with a common language for how all of them operate together, so that you can just look and understand. Like once you understand one, you would understand them all. There's way too many caveats and exceptions on how different spells work that creates different levels of power. I think I want to unify that. Each creature in that area takes slashing damage. A creature also takes this damage if it enters the space or ends its turn there. Or if the cube moves into its space. And the creature can only take this damage once per turn. Not per round, just per turn. Each creature in that area takes damage, enters the cube, action to teleport the cube up to 30 feet away. On your later turns, you can take a pure action, and then it ramps. Okay, yeah. Cloud of Daggers, super cool. So Cloud of Daggers, I don't see it being blue. Each creature in that area takes, that's a very red spell, so I'm good with that. Dual Flame, that's gonna be white. Bright light, dim light. Permanent. So it's permanent, white. I don't see why red and green came into the equation. Oh, because it's a flame. It looks like a regular flame, but it creates no heat and consumes no fuel, so it's not actually red. Okay, yeah, that's kind of a blue energy vibe going on there. Do I have any other white spells that are not, that create light that aren't inviting blue to participate? Just checking my list real quick here. Seeking consistency. Blast Bane, blah. Word of Radiance is obviously Radiance. Sorry, Wisp. Light. Okay, just creating light is white itself. Okay, cool. And produce flame, or yeah, produce flame, also white. Where'd I go? Up here. Thank you. Continual flame. Let's just leave it white. There. Cordon of arrows. That's going to be a green. That's going to be a red energy for sure because we're creating stuff. Magical arrow. Oh, it's also protection, so it's going to be white. So you touch up to 4 non-magical arrows or bolts and plant them in the ground in place until the spell ends. The ammunition can't be physically uprooted, and whenever a creature other than you enters the space within 30 feet of the ammunition for the first time on the turn of the round or in your turn there, 1 piece of ammunition flies up to strike it. The creature must succeed a dexterity saving throw or take piercing damage. Piece of ammunition is then destroyed. The spell ends when none of the ammunition remains planted in the ground. When you cast this spell, you can designate any creatures you choose as immune to the effect. Cordon of arrows. Definitely chaos, creation, earth, emotion, impulse. No, it's not red. Can't be physically uprooted. Can't be physically uprooted. That's really interesting. Huh. No, I'm just gonna leave that as white. Crown of Madness. 1 minute, concentration effect. Good. Charm condition. One creature that you can see within range must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the charm condition for the duration. The creature succeeds automatically if it isn't humanoid. So that's going to be black for sure. Because of manipulation. Spectral crown appears on the charmed creature's head, and it must use its actions before moving on each of its turn. That's compelled, so that's also black. The creature can act normally on its turn if you choose. No creature, or if no creature is within its reach, the target repeats the save at the end of each of its turn, ending the effect on your turns. You must take the magic item. You must take the magic action to maintain control of the target for the spell. So that is definitely a black spell. You're not even really manipulating their emotions at all. You're just forcing them to move. So that's not suppression. It's not restraint. It's just manipulation pure. So we're just gonna call that black. Adjusting my seat. Don't mind me. There. Okay, cool. So Crown of Madness. That feels good. Darkness. Obviously going to be a black spell, but let's keep moving on. 10 minutes. That's a concentration duration. Good. For the duration, magical darkness. Darkness is defined as evil, black, not necessarily evil, just black magic in general. You can cast a spell on an object that isn't being worn or carried, causing the darkness to fill the space covering that object with something opaque, such as a bowl or helm. Blocks the darkness. If it overlaps light, it can dispel. So this, I think this is black and blue. Actually, it's the dispelling effect. That makes me, because it just counters white. It's not really the same. Let's just leave Darkness pure black. That feels good. Dark Vision, that's going to be a green thing. Is Dark Vision 150 feet? Yep. And I'm thinking about blue. Nah. Detect Thoughts. Detect Thoughts is very blue. Activate, spend time, magic action, sense thoughts, read thoughts. There you go. X, blue. There we go. Dragon's Breath is new. Sweet. I bet it's going to be a whole bunch of colors. That is going to be concentration effect. Hey, thank you, Time the Timer. Acid, fire, cold, lightning, poison. That's all 5 colors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So there. Checking on the next one. Enhance ability. You touch a creature. Has advantage on ability checks and chosen to change. Impulse, emotion, fire, earth, ambition, entropy, manipulation, animal, healing, plant. So green feels right. And I'm going to say based off of cooperation, that feels a bit on point. Yeah, I like that. Enlarge, reduce. For the duration, the spell enlarges or reduces the size of a creature or object. Enlarge, reduce. There you go. So, blue, red, green. Yeah, that feels right. Enthrall. 1 minute concentration. Good. What do? You weave a distracting string of words, causing creatures of your choice that you can see within range to make a wisdom saving throw. Any creature your companion are fighting automatically succeed on the save. A final save has a -10 to wisdom check. And passive perceptions until the end of the turn. Wow, enthrall. Okay. So you make a wisdom saving. Any creature that companions that are fighting automatically succeed on a failed save. -10 saving throw. Huh. Okay. Blue for sure. I think it's not manipulating anyone. It's just creating a gloom. So let's I feel like I want to break off. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just make it blue. That feels right. Yeah, define enthrall. Fascinated attention. Yeah, let's call it blue and red. Yeah, I'm good with that. Find Steed. That feels incredibly green. Duration instantaneous. Very good. Summon an otherworldly being that appears as a loyal steed in an unoccupied space of your choice within range. This creature uses the otherworldly steed stat block. The steed resembles a large, rideable animal of your choice. Celestial, Fey, or Fiend, which determines certain stats, certain traits in the stat block. So that kind of implies white, black, and green. Combat. Disappearance of the steed. Higher level spell slot. Radiant, psychic, necrotic damage. This God, it looks like this spell can justify pretty much any color other than red. Frightened condition. Yeah, let's do that. White, blue, black, skipping red, and we're going with green because we're creating a creature. Yeah, I'm good with that. Find traps. How do you work these days, buddy? Instantaneous? Jesus Christ. Okay, cool. So let's read this. It's a second level spell slot. So you sense any traps within range. That's within line of sight. A trap for the purpose of the spell includes any object or mechanism that was created to cause damage or other danger. Thus, the spell would sense the alarm or glyph of warding spells or mechanical pit trap, but it wouldn't reveal a natural weakness in the floor or unstable ceilings or a hidden sinkhole. The spell reveals that a trap is present, but not its location. You do learn the general nature of the danger posed by a trap you sense. Huh. So that feels, protection is white, and that feels like what this is all about. And then perception or discovery, that's a very blue energy. So let's just do that. White and blue. Flame Blade. Fire damage. There you go. Easy peasy. Flaming Sphere, also very red effect. Concentration. 5-foot sphere, dim light burning. There you go. Yep. Gentle repose. You touch a corpse. The spell only effectively extends the time limit to raising the undead. It's protecting it from decay. Green feels right. Spirit, soul, divinity. I think that's good. Gust of wind, blue and green feels right there for sure. Concentration effect. Yep. Alright, what's next? Heat metal. Alright, that's going to be a red spell. But what else is going on? Okay, it's going to be concentration. Cool. Choose a manufactured metal object, such as metal weapon or heavy armor. Fire damage. Yep. Fire. Okay, hold person. Humanoid, you can see the target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or have the paralyzed condition, which is like restrained. That's a white spell. Not being manipulated. Not really being restrained either. I'm gonna drop that. Let's just leave it white. That feels good. Invisibility, definitely gonna be a blue spell there. Concentration blue. X, there we go. Knock. Instantaneous effect. Choose an object you can see within range. It's held shut, but stuck at barred. Becomes unlock, unstuck, unbarred, unlocked. And suppresses. So that feels like blue and red. X, blue and red. Lesser restoration is like healing magic. So I'm thinking in one condition. Yeah, white and green. Cool. Levitate. Rises vertically up to 20 feet. Remains suspended there for the duration. Can move or be pushed. Levitate, it's like force, like telekinesis sort of stuff, which is generally like white, blue, red. We have found over time to be the case. Locate animals or plants. Beast, plant, blah, 5 miles, instantaneous duration, and that's going to be pure green. I'm good with that. Locate object. Well, that's blue, so it feels like locate plant and animal should be blue as well, honestly. So let's just do that and not be hypocritical. Yeah, that feels right. Magic mouth. Magic mouth. Until dispelled, so it's persistent. Good. Implants a message upon an object in a range. Message is uttered. It's illusion type magic. I'm going to call it red too. This feels red. Magic weapon. Let's see what that does. You touch a non-magical weapon until the spell ends. The weapon becomes a magical +1. It's like enhancement. We call that white and red. Melf acid arrow is going to be acid, so it's going to be black and green automatically. Yeah. Black and green. Mind spike. Well, mind spike. I suspect you're going to be psychic damage. Let's find out what's happening here. Psionic energy. That's going to be blue. The target makes a wisdom saving throw. Psychic damage. So psychic damage is white, blue, black. On a failed save, you always know the target's location. That's blue. Only while it's through your same plane of existence, while you have this knowledge, the target can't become hidden from you, and if it has the invisible condition, it gains some benefit. So white, blue, black. X. What is that? Duration is concentration. White, blue, black. Because psychic damage is always white, blue, black. Heavy into the blue influence, but the damage is what makes it. The damage is what seals a color type. Like if it deals that, if like it deals a damage type, if that damage is devoted to a color, it's always going to be every color that is devoted to that type of that type of damage is devoted to. So now what? Mirror image. That's illusion. I'm sure that's just going to be blue. Did that attack? So yep. X blue, concentration, good to go. Misty Step is a teleportation effect. Teleportation effect by Magic the Gathering is defined as both white and blue. So let's see how that shakes out. Yep. White and hey, cool. There it is, white and blue, as it should be. Moonbeam. That's going to be green because of moonlight energy, but it's also white because of light. And what kind of damage do you deal? Radiant damage, white and blue. Yeah, white and green. That's what I meant. Instills magic aura. Don't persistent. Mask, false aura. These are blue effects. Illusion. Yep. Pass without trace. 30-foot emanation from you. Creature gets a +10 dexterity bonus. Pass without trace. We're just going to call that green. That feels... Do I want it to be blue? +10 dexterity is like stealth hiding. That's like illusion. Yeah, I think we should call it blue. I get the feeling that there's an MTG card for Pass Without Trace. Am I crazy? Scryfall, Pass Without Trace. Does it exist? Nope. But it's such a roguely thing. Blue and green both feel right. Phantasmal Force, Illusion, that's blue. Phantasm, real, illogical. Yeah. 1 minute blue. Okay, Prayer of Healing. That's probably going to be white and blue. White and green. Up to 5 creatures you choice with remaining area. Casting benefits from short rest. Gains of short rest. That's your green right there for sure. And hit points. Holy crap. White and green. Protection from poison. That's going to be black, green. Advantage on saving throws to overcome it. That's going to be black and green because it's poison. Overcoming it is white. So let's call it white, blue. Let's call it white, black, and green. I'm good with that. There was resistance. And that gave you bonuses against the type of damage that you would choose. So there you go. That makes sense. Bonuses against the type of damage that you would choose. So there you go. Oh, but I'm trying to find any instances of protection against damage types to see if white is universal across them. Damaging type is always a color, but what about protecting against it? Because protection is literally the name for white. So like that kind of, yeah, protection from poison. Yeah, that kind of seals it. White, there you go. But yeah, we do need to do, actually I do need that due diligence. So let's take a second here to see. Yeah, remove, effect. Anything else in here that gives me resistance to stuff? Looking for resistance. Even good. I'm going to drop blue from that. I'm going to add that back in. I'm not seeing anything else in here. Protection. Yeah, okay, I'm good with it. Alright, Raven Feeblement. What do you do? Wheel Morality. Turn, turn, turn. Teach us the lesson we should learn. Disadvantage on next attack roll. That means blue. Disadvantage on next attack roll. That means blue. Huh. I'm not feeling black here. It feels blue. The way that we're currently defining the colors. Innervating energy shoots from you towards a creature within range. Makes a Constitution saving throw. Disadvantage on strength-based saves for the duration. Also subtracts D8 from all damage rolls. Innervating energy. Define innervate. This definitely feels blue, but now I'm questioning whether it should be black or not. Draining vitality. That's like a quasi black theme. Okay, let's do it. Let's go blue black. That sounds cool. Rope trick, extra dimensional spaces. That's going to be white and blue. Touch a rope. invisible, storage space, white and blue. 1 hour, persistent. Yeah, concentration. Scorching Ray. Fire damage for the win. Fire damage. XIR, good. See invisible. Hey, how about that timely timer? How are we doing on time here? Okay, I got another 20 minutes. We'll be good. See invisibility. For the duration, you see creatures, objects that are in invisible condition as if they were visible. You can see in the ethereal plane. Well, cast it's going to be blue. I don't know why it'd be other colors. Oh, it isn't. Well, how about that? Shatter. This shatter does thunder damage. URG is good to go. Thunder damage. URG. Instant. URG. Good to go. Ooh, Shining Smite. That's new. Instant. Oh, duration. So the target hit by the strike takes an extra 2d radiant damage, puts it in white automatically until the spell ends. The target sheds bright light. Attack rolls against it have advantage, and it can't benefit from the invisible condition. That's white and blue. Concentration. That's going to be white and blue. And so I got to go back up here to Searing Smite and all the others. These persistent spell effects I need to... Hold on. Wrathful Smite. Let's double check this guy real quick. 1 minute. Self. Time. The frightened. Okay. Wrathful Smite should be. It should be concentration. I was debating that last night. Let's look up Thundering Smite. It is a persistent effect that has a short duration. Thundering State. Fuck is wrong? What was wrong with the way that I wrote Thundering Smite? How can you not find Thundering Smite? How can you not find Thundering Smite? Ugh, oh my god. Corbin Dallas, oh my god. Let's go to spells. What? Because it's Thunderous Smite. That's why. Because I don't know how to spell. Thunderous Smite. Right. Instantaneous effect. Cool. Searing Smite. Let's go check you out real quick. Fire damage. Ongoing damage. Concentration. There you go. Smite, 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 smite. Divine Smite is instantaneous. Cool. Okay, cool. Got that all resolved. Happy. Hitting save to prevent any unnecessary lossage. Silence. That feels like a green and blue effect to me. Any creature or object entirely inside the sphere has immunity to thunder damage. Ooh. X. That's going to be not manipulation. It's going to be white. suppression, blue, and sound, senses, green. 6. Maybe not tradition, maybe senses. Maybe that's the right way to do that. Spider climb. Yeah, I kind of like that. Yeah. Bop, bop, spider climb. So the end of the spell, touch creature, moves different. That's incredibly green. So X, there you go. Spike growth, that's probably also going to be green. 10 minutes, concentration, good. Let's see. Piercing damage, growth, area, difficult terrain is terrain, so that's nature. Okay, cool. So green is good. Spirit weapon. 1 minute duration equals concentration. Very good. And it deals force damage. White, blue, red. White, blue, red. And suggestion is going to be black for sure. See a range not creatures. A suggestion sound achievable and not involve anything that would be obviously deal damage. Charm condition for the duration. The suggested for example, you could say blah blah blah. The target. Thank you, Timely Timer. The target must succeed on wisdom saving throw or be charmed condition for the duration until you or your allies deal damage to the target. The charmed creature pursues the suggestion to the best of its ability. The suggested action can continue for the entire duration. Whew, concentration. But the suggested activity can be completed in a shorter time frame. The spell ends for the target upon completion. Well, that's definitely manipulation. It's definitely concentration. I don't see it being blue. Is there an MTG card for suggestion? Sometimes these things pop up and it's just weird. So Scryfall suggestion. Definitely not. Okay, cool. So suggestion being pure black, that feels good to me. Summon Beast. Ooh, new stuff. It's gonna be a green spell, huh? You call forth a bestial spirit. Ally, body, flyby attack, pack tactics, land and water only, land and water only. Bestial spirit, small beast. Next, we're just gonna call it green. And what's it, concentration? Yeah. And warding bond. This is gonna be protection. Connection between the two of you till the spell ends. Armor class bonus, it has resistance to all damage. Also, each time it takes damage, you take the same amount of damage. And it has resistance to all damage. Also, each time it takes damage, you take the same amount of damage after the resistance, because you take resistance off first. Okay, that makes sense. The spell ends if you drop to 0 hit points. So, bonus armor class, resistance to all types of damage. And that puts it, okay, well that puts it across the entire spectrum, because the general rule is if you gain resistance to a damage type, then that damage type is represented as the devoted to that color. Web is going to be green. That makes sense. Wow, Warding Bond just like really opened up. Yeah, green. X, concentration, there you go. And Zone of Truth. Compels creatures, suppresses lies. Can't speak the... Okay, so that feels like white, blue, and black to me, honestly. Restrain, suppress, and manipulate. All three of those things feel relevant. Animate dead, 100% black. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stop there. We're just past an hour. I think that's a good place to stop. We're at 0.200. And we were at 140, so 200. That means we can clock through literally one. I guess we're averaging 1 spell per minute, is how that's weighing out here currently, roughly. So if we're at 207, and we got to get to 456. That's and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Roughly 440. So that's about 240 more line entries that we need to go through. So that means that we're probably going to need 4 more hours for us to complete the entire task. So I think what I'm going to do is save some of this for stream tomorrow morning. And we're getting close to done with the tasks that we need to for rebuilding. Like, we've almost got all the technical information necessary for 2024. So, oh boy, man, we're getting close. Wow, yeah, we're getting close. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut stream here for now. And when we come back, again, anyone that catches this, if you want to contest any of the decisions that I make or point out contradictions, like from MTG cards where these might not be accurate, I am very open to debate. If anything, you're going to help me see something that I didn't know before, or help reinforce that the way I've done it is correct. And if anyone purchases this off of DMsGuild, either the current one or this one that we're building for 2024, you get this. An editable, unlocked spreadsheet that you can then go in and you can, for your own campaign, you can copy this and then manipulate it so that it's the colors that you want it to be. Or you can have this list for each of your characters and you can sculpt it depending on what colors they use and how you modify the spells. You can sculpt your own spell list under their own color identities as you modify them with like research or finding different versions of the spells and scrolls and spellbook, etc. So those things are available. So we're going to go ahead and cut stream for now. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do some color mana. We'll do some more of this, but I think we're also going to work on the Warforged Mecha and Mega Kaiju books, so that we can keep pushing that ball down the field as well. And yeah, I think that's about where we're at. So, all right, hey guys, thanks a lot for checking out. I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. here in Seattle, which will be noon on the East Coast of the USA. I hope you have a great night. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks a lot. Boop-a-dee-doop-boop-boop.